about the deadlock. So we talked about the deadlock when we learn the log-based protocol, right? So in the log-based protocol, it is suffering with the deadlock. How it is suffering? Let's see this example. We have transaction T1 with two write operation. We have transaction T2 with two write operation. Transaction T1 want to writes, so it has to take the executive log first on X, then only it will do the write operation. Just after that, let's assume that T2 is executing operation, and just before that it is applying for the log on Y and writing on Y. After that, what for writing on X, T2 has to take the log on X, but already T1 has taken the log on X, so it will wait. It will wait for log X on X. Likewise, T1 want to do write operation on Y, but it has to wait for T2 transaction to unlock it, right? So here it is also has to wait. Both are waiting to each other to unlock. This situation is called deadlock. And this situation occur generally in locking based protocol or log based protocol, where some transaction has already taken the log. It cannot unlock. Why? Because we know the growing phase and shrinking phase, right? In a growing phase, we have to take all the log. In a shrinking phase, we have to unlock. But the thing is that I haven't taken all the log. So how can I unlock? Right? Because T1 has to take log on X as well as Y. And likewise, T2 has to take log on X and log on Y. Then only they can do the unlock procedure, right? Because it is a growing phase and shrinking phase. So growing phase means you have to take all the log, and shrinking phase you have to start unlocking. So this particular situation is called deadlock situation. So in a simple word, what we can say, one transaction is holding the resource and waiting for another transaction, to releasing that resource. See, the same thing is happening. What I'm telling you is about the deadlock and what is a deadlock, right? So if one transaction is holding the resource and waiting for another transaction to release the resource, it is also doing the same thing. This transaction is holding the resource and waiting for another transaction to release the resource. If this situation occur, then it is called deadlock. Now, how we can handle the deadlock? To procedure are very easy procedure for handling the deadlock. The system is deadlocked if there is a set of transactions such that every transaction in the set is waiting for another transaction in the set. It is okay. This is the situation that one is waiting for another transaction. Deadlock prevention protocol ensure that the system will never enter into the deadlock state. Some prevention strategies are, so prevention says that there will be no deadlock. There are some strategy. One is called require that each transaction locks all its data item before it begin execution or pre-declaration. So in this situation, what it will say that if a transaction Ti came into the system or T1 came into the system, so it will tell the system that I need the lock on X or I need the lock on Y. So just before coming into the system, it has both the lock on Y and lock on X, right? So there will be no deadlock. The same thing will happen to T2 also. If T2 is coming into the system, it will say to the system that I need the lock on Y and X. So it is taking the lock on Y, but it need the lock on X also, right? So it will take that lock at the very beginning. So when this situation occur, let's say T1 has already taken the lock, so T2 will not get any lock, and T2 will wait T1 to finish its execution, then only it will start its lock procuration. So this is the first prevention mechanism. Second prevention mechanism is impose partial ordering of all data items and require that the transaction can lock data item only in the order specified by the partial order. It is a graph-based protocol. It is imposing that the order of all data item and require that the transaction can lock data item only in the order specified. So it will make an order like T1 and T2 will make the order of, let's say it require the lock on X and then it will require the lock on Y. Then T2 will release its order like I require the lock on Y first and then I'll require the lock on X. So system will decide that when T1 has to given the lock on X and when T1 will be given the lock on Y. At the same time, that same system will decide that T2 will given the lock on Y at what time and T2 has given the lock on X at what particular time. So the ordering will be decided, and based on that, it will decide that which lock has to be given to which particular transaction. So these two are the prevention mechanism. Okay. Some more mechanism are as follows. Wait die scheme. This is one scheme which is comes into the category of non-preemption. Preemption means forcefully we are deallocating or rollbacking here. Non-preemption means we are not doing anything forcefully. Now wait die scheme is the non-preemptive version of the to execute frequently. Now wound die scheme, this is a preemption, forceful execution. Older transaction wounds means forcefully rollback of younger transaction instead of waiting for it. Younger transaction may wait for the older one. So here is the reverse one. What is the reverse one? If we have T1 and T2, T1 is the older transaction, has already taken the lock on Y and waiting for X. Here it has taken lock on X and waiting on Y. So it says that the older is not going to wait, instead it will roll back. Instead of waiting, it will roll back. So it will release the lock on Y. So Y will be allotted to this transaction. The same thing will happen. Maybe fewer rollback than wait die scheme. So this is saying that this will be done few times, and after that wait die will be applied. Means this will be applied here. So wait die and won't wait, these are the two different mechanisms which can be applied for the deadlock prevention. Both in wait die and in one wait scheme, a rollback transaction is restarted with its original timestamp. Older transaction that have precedences over newer transaction, and starvation is hence avoided. So it says that whenever a transaction will be rolled back, a new time will be given to it. Okay? Transaction is restarted with original timestamp. Older transaction that has precedences over newer one, and starvation is hence avoided. Okay. It says that whenever we restart the transaction, it will take the original timestamp with it, and with the original timestamp only it will come into the system. Now, timeout based system, this is another scheme. A transaction wait for a lock only for a specified amount of time. After that, the wait time out, the transaction is rollback. Thus, deadlock is not possible. Simple to implement, but starvation is possible. Also difficult to determine good value of the timeout interval. So what it says that when a transaction, we will issue a lock on any value, so that lock will be allotted to ti for some time. So there is a time duration, and because of the time duration, ti will not going to hold it forever. Let's say it is waiting for, let's say, y. So after some time what will happen is ti will roll back because its time out will occur. So it is not bothering about whether it is a old transaction or new transaction. Every transaction will be given the timestamp, time duration when it will issue a lock. And when the time duration will be exhausted, the transaction has to roll back. Now, the second procedure is how we can remove the deadlock. Let's say my system, I'm not using any prevention technique. Let's say my system goes into the deadlock. How we can recover from the deadlock? Okay. So there is a procedure called deadlock detection. So the first thing is we'll detect the deadlock, and after that we'll look for the recovery process, means how we can recover from deadlock. So in this type of procedure, the system allow the deadlock into the system, means system is more optimistic, means it assume that there will be no deadlock, and rarely if some time if rarely deadlock occur, so why to use prevention technique? So it is just like if you are not getting let's say frequently some diseases, so why to take the prevention away? Or if the that disease is regular disease, so we have to take prevention in that way. So it assumes that the deadlock occur for very rarely the deadlock occur, so why to take prevention technique, right? Instead of taking the prevention technique, let's allow the deadlock to happen into the system, and then only we'll see, I will detect the deadlock, and then we'll look for how we can recover from the deadlock. So for that, the first step is to detect the deadlock. So how we can detect the deadlock? We detect the deadlock with the help of a graph which is called wait for graph. Wait for graph. Okay. So what is a wait for graph? If you see this graph is called wait for graph. You can see here the transaction 25 is waiting transaction 26 to release some lock. Transaction 25 is again waiting for transaction 27 to unlock any lock. Transaction 27 is waiting 26 to unlock, and transaction 26 is waiting to transaction 28 to unlock, and 20 is not waiting for anything. Now this is one wait for graph. Now let's talk about this wait for graph. In this, transaction 25 is waiting for 26 and 27, 27 is waiting for 26, 26 is waiting for 28, and 28 is waiting for 27. Now this is another wait for graph. Now in this wait for graph, there is no cycle at all. No cycle at all. So there is no cycle. But in this, there is a cycle. This is a cycle. 26 from 26, 27, 28, there is a cycle. Getting it? So the arrow, you can see there is a cycle. Now, if we are getting the cycle in the wait for graph, we find it out that there is a deadlock. How we can recover from the deadlock? Some transaction will have to roll back, made a victim to break deadlock. Select the transaction as victim that will incur minimum cost. Rollback. Determine how far to roll back transaction. Total rollback, about the transaction and then restart. More effective to roll back transaction only as far as necessary to break the deadlock. Starvation happens if some transaction is always chosen as a victim, including number of rollback in the cost factor to avoid starvation. It says that whenever we detect the deadlock, we look for the victim. Okay, so what are the victim? So we have to find out the victim based on which is not affecting the system. Who is not affecting the system? Whose operations are, let's say, less than 50% has been performed, and whose operation is more than 50% performed, will we are not choosing as a victim. Okay, or you can assume that if a transaction is an old transaction, we'll choose the new transaction over the old transaction for rollback as a victim. So here you can see we'll not going to roll back 27, 27, 26 and 28. We just roll back one. Let's say which one will roll back. So let's say we'll roll back this one, which is 28. Then what will happen? Then there will be no deadlock. You can see 25 is waiting for 26 and 27. 27 is waiting for 26. 26 is not waiting for anything if this will be not there. And this will be not there. So T2, T6 will do all its operation. It will release the lock. Then 25 will get that particular lock, and then 27 will get that particular lock, and then 27 will release it, and 25 will get that particular lock. In that way, every transaction will run. There will be no problem. About the rollback, it is also saying that at what level we have to roll back. Means, do we have to do total rollback, or we have to do the rollback up to some operation? So it depend upon what type of protocol you are using. If you are doing total rollback, means all the operation what a transaction has done will be rollback, and otherwise it will be like some of the transaction will be rollback. Now, starvation occur. Starvation means a transaction will never get the chance to execute its all the operation. Why? What situation in which the starvation can occur? When the same transaction is becoming victim again and again. So we have to look for some factors, like the transaction will be rolled back, let's say once, then the counter will be there. Then we doesn't have to choose that transaction who has rollback once. We have to choose other transaction whose counter is 0. In that way we can prevent the starvation. So all those things are there. Many research is also going on related to this.